Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to moderate the last panel of this DUN conference on sourcing of home textiles, Advantage India. The home textile segment has emerged as the mainstream segment since the world went under lockdown during the pandemic. Let us look at the global scenario and outlook for India.
The global home textile market at retail level is estimated over the 10 billion. China remains the largest exporter with a share of over 50%, whereas India is distant second at 5% share. In 2020, during the pandemic, home textile exports have seen a double-digit growth. Consumer preferences have changed towards health, hygiene, and comfort. Work from home has become new normal, resulting in home textile taking larger share of customers' wallet. India has established home textile industry with companies having global scale, particularly bed and bath, linen. A large number of medium-sized companies and SMEs are also engaged in production of variety of goods in furnishing and other home textiles. With India's strength in cotton and now increasingly in MMF sector, there is faster potential to increase our exports and double it in next 5 years. Therefore, today's panel discussion is focused on highlighting the opportunities to be realized and challenges to overcome. I am happy to introduce my panel of 4 eminent international home textile industry leaders representing both the supply and demand side to get a complete perspective. Mr. Lalpuria is ED and CEO, Indocob Industries. Mr. Kelvin Woolley is Global Supplier Development Leader at IKEA Group. Mr. Abhishek Kaul, VP of Product Development and Merchandising, Hollander Slip Products. Mr. Raman Khanna, Head of Category Home and Hard Goods, John Lewis, India. Now, we will have question and answer session with our eminent panelists, and afterwards, we'll take a few questions from the audience. My first question is to Mr. Lalpuria and then to Mr. Kaul. And my question is, what are the major market trends that characterize the home textile demand in coming 2-3 years with unique reference to the US and European market? Mr. Kaul, please.
Thank you, Mr. Khandelia. We believe that the major market trends here in the US will be health and wellness. That is going to be the single most important trend sector, in home textiles and in any other category. The other one would be sustainability. I think sustainability not only in product but in processes and ways to manufacture. I think everyone is looking for those things. And then the last one I would say is luxury, innovation and luxury. Even during this pandemic lockdown, we saw that the luxury market remained strong and grew stronger through the whole lockdown. And so we believe that that the luxury market will be a huge potential market for Indian suppliers to focus on and to figure out what to supply to that.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. My next question is to Mr. Kaul again, and then to Mr. Khanna. India's market share has been at a particular level in recent 3 years. What are the future outlook and perceived strengths, opportunities, and risk against other competitors? Mr. Kaul, please, and then Mr. Khanna.
So before I answer the question, let me tell a little bit about Hollander Sleep Products. We are one of the largest basic bedding manufacturing companies based in North America. Just to give you an idea of scale, we ship about 60 to 65 million pillows annually across retail and hospitality channels, several million comforter and mattress pads, so many different things that we buy a lot of components from overseas right now. For us, our share of imports from India right now is very low compared to other countries. So for us, it's very imperative. We keep on trying to figure out how to increase our supply chain in India. So in view of that, I think we have a very strong outlook and sentiment of Indian suppliers becoming stronger and bigger. We've already seen the strength of the Indian textile industry. We have cotton sufficiency. The man-made fiber sector is strong and is growing exponentially, not only in polyester but also in sustainable fibers like lyocell. So that is good. We have a young and competitive labor force. That is again a great strength to have in textile market. I think the main opportunity that we see, which will also help us, is that right now we have such titans of in sheets and towel supplier from India. Be they Wellspun, Indocob, Trident, Himmat. We need those kind of scales to happen in other other sectors which are not sheets and towels. There are filled products, by pillow shells. There are so many other different home textile products, furnishings that India can grow in. That I think it has to be the key focus, because we have to come up and dominate those sectors as well. I think the risks that we see are delays in infrastructure development. Things take time. We understand that, but we have to keep on plugging in and growing the infrastructure across the country. And the other big one, which we feel is that there isn't enough low interest financing available for smaller and medium scale suppliers to scale up. I think that is very important for them to be competitive against the bigger suppliers across the world.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. Mr. Khanna, please.
Sure, sir. I think Abhishek has, started really well, highlighting where the opportunities, the strengths, and the sort of way forward lies. When I look at it from our perspective, I think the last 2 decades have been a testimony of the hard work that the Indian manufacturers and supply chains have actually put in, which has positioned India so strongly on the global map. As we stand today, we are well positioned with a sizable global footprint, both in the medium to premium category in the home textile market. I think we have a strong foundation. We've ticked the right boxes, in terms of raw material availability, capacity, capability, and most importantly, it's the wide variety of product that we have to offer. I think we have a reputable and a delivered track record in terms of being a dependable hub for service and quality. As Abhishek rightly said, I think we've got a huge market share in commodity areas such as towels and sheets. And, we strongly believe that there is sufficient headroom to grow in other categories, especially the hospitality and the institutional range of businesses, filled products like comforters and, bed-and bags. And I think the main focus also should be on, the fantastic product that comes out of our cottage and handloom industry from, all over India. In terms of where we see ourselves, 3 years from now and what will determine our success, I think this basically revolves around 4 key aspects. One obviously is innovation. Product durability and performance have been at the forefront of, textile inventions and innovations. But as Khandelia ji, you rightly pointed out, in the post-pandemic area, health, hygiene, and wellness are gaining prominence, and I think they will be the forefront of any product performing attributes going forward. The need for sustainability and an end-to-end traceability will be of key essence. Speed to market, I think, is going to be a crucial aspect that is going to drive success for countries. When you look at countries like Turkey, they're strategically placed with their proximity to the European Union. So you're talking about, quick lead times and quicker deliverances. What we need to do in turn, to mitigate that risk is obviously look at better forecasting, better inventory and supply chain management, and possibly offer quick turnarounds by, domestic holding of stock in countries of deliverance. The fourth and the most important aspect that we think is going to be really essential for us is costing, especially in either the opening price point areas, or it's going to be, with the institutional and hospitality sectors where we know that price sensitivity is key. That's where, countries like Turkey and Pakistan, have scored an advantage over India because of their duty-free access into the European Union. If you look at a number, it puts us at a 10% disadvantage. And we know that every percent, every cent, on competitive businesses is key. So I think whilst the industry does its bit from, an innovation, sustainability, and a speed to market standpoint, anything and everything that the authorities can do in terms of pushing a free trade agreement will only open up an even playing field and will give us an upper hand, especially in categories that are price sensitive.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Very rightly said. And my next question is to Mr. Lalpuria and then to Mr. Kaul. So first I will put it to Mr. Kaul. What are the 3 purchasing criteria for international buyers for sourcing of home textiles? Mr. Kaul, please.
I think Raman actually covered some of it in the previous question,
Yes.
but I would say reliability is key for us. We have to have a reliable, if you commit something, you have to live up to it. I think that is key. The other thing would be competitive pricing. Obviously, it has to compete against global suppliers. Acceptable quality would be the third one. Again, we don't need quality to be beyond what we need, but it has to be acceptable. And then innovation, even though there was only 3 criteria, but I think innovation is a key criteria for purchasing.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. Now though something is already covered, but still I would like to have from Mr. Kaul as well as from Mr. Khanna again. What are the opportunities and challenges you see for Indian suppliers of home textile products, which are mainly produced in decentralized sector? Some part you have already covered, but if there is any specific, please let me know. How to increase the exports from the categories which are being manufactured by MSME? Mr. Kaul, please.
I think the key would be to help such companies to scale up to be competitive at a global level. It won't be easy to begin with, but I think the companies over here in the US are willing to support and help grow these companies. But there has to be some effort from overall the Indian industry side to grow these up to global scale levels.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. Mr. Khanna, you have already covered to something. Mr. Kaul has also covered. If you have to add something in 1 or 2 lines, please.
Sure, sir. Sir, as Abhishek has rightly said that there is need to scale up. I think what is also important is for us to get visibility of such MSMEs on the right platform. Where we are not only talking about product, but we're also actually talking about the whole process that goes into manufacturing the product. As India, we are really good with what we do. I think we need to bring out our stories to the world for them to take notice of what we are capable of delivering in terms of not only product, but service and quality.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Now I'd like to ask our panelist, Mr. Kelvin Woolley from IKEA Group, to give his perspective on opportunities and challenges facing the Indian home textile industry and suggestions to improve the sector's competitiveness. Mr. Kelvin, the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Khandelia ji, for inviting me to this as a panel member, and thank you, CITI, for providing me this opportunity to be today a panelist. First of all, I would like to address the opportunities to the Indian home textile industry. Home has become the center stage of our life and lifestyle. Work from home culture is triggering the increase in consumption of home textile. A lot of time is spent at home, wherein work, leisure, entertainment, all are happening at home, which is increasing the home textile consumption. So this is a big structural shift. As more time is being spent, the consumption is growing. This will be a structural shift going forward in this particular category. The second addition, when we analyze the home textile industry, is that the addition of the health, hygiene and wellness sector. The health, hygiene and wellness product categories has seen a big boost, wherein brands and retailers are asking for more products resonating with them. This is an additional product which has been added to the shelf of the retailers, and this will grow leaps and bounds in the coming year and will provide manufacturers a big opportunity to grow in this segment. The third is the digitization. The big box retailers have gained businesses from the small retailers, mom and pop stores which could not sustain during pandemic. This has also triggered that from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, consumers are attracted to buy brands online and omni-channel. This is again has added up sales to big box retailers, and this will help the home textile industry to further grow as the big manufacturers are serving the big box retailers as their customers. So this is the three opportunities which I have sounded off. As far as the challenges are concerned, we are seeing worldwide trade pacts which are happening between countries. There are bilateral trades between the countries for their strength and weaknesses and in order to grow their global trade and presence. India also should develop them, but finding India-centric trade pact is a big challenge, and there we need to work around with countries with like-minded attitude to see that how we can gain further market share in time to come. The second big challenge is the sustainability driven product range. The brands and retailers are fixing norms towards sustainability, and if we are unable to address them in time to come, then we will fall short of the supply chain. For example, organic cotton, BCI cotton, hemp, and all are finding marketplaces and commitment with the retailers. We need to address these sustainability regulations very quickly so that we become a formidable force in the world market. The circularity, reuse and recycling are becoming the new norms, wherein industry needs to address this in time to come so as to sustain their supply chain. So I think these are the two challenges. With these opportunities and challenges, I see a big growth if we overcome these challenges and grow in the future, as India is well positioned in the cotton segment and in the last 2 decades has brought about a huge market share in some of the categories. We still have a far way to go, but with right support from the government, which is, and the Atmanirbhar Bharat, where the government will support us with policies and regulation, we strongly believe that India will increase its market share in the world global market. With this, I would like to also inform you about the future outlook of Indocob. I am very confident that with all our resources available to us, like capital adequacy, innovative product, a large customer base, and the performance which we have done in the near past will help Indocob to achieve larger growth in the time to come. We are investing into the front end as well as into the capacities and capabilities. This will take us to a new level of growth. With this, friends, I would like to summarize and end up my talk saying that we all have to address and increase our perceived value in the marketplace. This will give us a great confidence in building India to a new future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to this forum. It's great to be back amongst so many of my Indian friends. Yeah, as you know, of course, as mentioned, IKEA is a global retailer, a big global retailer, and textiles is one of our big areas where we buy. Of course, we're present in more than 50 markets globally around the world, sales markets, and with a purchasing presence in actually most of those countries. Europe and Germany is of course our biggest sales market. But as many of you know, and hopefully you visited our stores in India, that we have already started our retail journey in India, and it's exciting times for us, and many brighter days for IKEA in India together as we expand our retail agenda in more places in India. But although it's been recent from a retail perspective, we have had a purchasing presence with people on the ground for more than 35 years. This has been a fantastic journey for us. Textiles, of course, being one of the main areas of our sourcing and buying, whether that be carpets to towels to bed linens and to many, mostly cotton products, of course. So yeah, it's been a great journey so far, and we have many fantastic Indian suppliers. With regards to your question actually about the major market trends, which we as a retailer see, we actually have three focus areas, and they are more, I would say that they're even more enhanced today due to the COVID situation than ever before. So the first one, really the big focus area from a retail perspective, and of course it's the customer in mind and the customer needs and their priorities, is of course the affordability. Really with the low price, delivering the low price product with all the quality elements and all the expectations that the consumers have. And of course, COVID has put many people around the world in a difficult situation. So affordability becomes an even more prevalent focus area for IKEA, both now and of course in the years to come. Accessibility is the other area. Of course, with all the lockdowns and everything, people have been turning to e-commerce, and we've been on an e-commerce journey for a number of years. But never before have we seen this acceleration due to the COVID situation. So this accessibility and really reaching out to people wherever they are is so important for IKEA, and is a great opportunity for us moving forward. So accessibility being the second point. The third, of course, is that we do that with a positive impact on people and planet. The sustainability agenda has been strong for many, many years, but we as major retailers in the world, we need to take a responsibility together with manufacturers of the world to really have a positive impact on both the people and the planet. And so, I mean, if we take these three focus areas, and from a focusing standpoint, and especially related to India, of course, really delivering that low price without compromise on quality to our customers is a big focus area. And of course, sustainability, whether it's about enforcement of laws, worker rights, environmental laws, are really driving the sustainability agenda and compliance agenda. But not only in the way that it's manufactured, but we're also looking at the material agenda, recycled materials. As many of you may know as well, that we have cotton from more sustainable sources in all of our products that we sell in IKEA, and we're very proud that we started that journey many, many years ago with founding of the BCI. And of course, in 2015, we were proud to announce that 100% of all of our products are sourced sustainably with regards to cotton. So yeah, we've been continuing that journey with the whole traceability perspective as well. And also when it comes to manufacturing, it's a big focus, of course, on green energy, water stewardship, and focusing, of course, on all those elements to how we manufacture it, and manufacture it sustainably and responsibly. So Other areas as well that we're looking at in terms of market trends is innovations, especially in the low price segment. You know, many innovations are focused and geared towards high price products, and they put fancy labels on them. But we're really looking and focusing on how do we get innovations for the low price. And then, of course, speed to market to meet that accessibility. You know, whether that's in product developments or even in the transport sector. And as recently, we have faced many challenges getting goods out of Mumbai port due to shortages of containers, etc., and the transport network. So we really need to see how do we face these challenges and overcome these challenges and hurdles to really ensure that the transport systems and the transport methods can get those products to our customers in an easy and fast way. So that's how we see the market trends today and tomorrow. Thank you. Yes, thanks for the question. Opportunities and challenges. Yeah, I mean, I think there are many opportunities, of course, for the textile manufacturers in India, not just for the large manufacturers, but also, as you mentioned, you know, the SMEs and also the artisans alike. And of course, as an international buyer, you know, we have the freedom or the luxury, as I would say, maybe to buy from any country. And we have the resources to really look at the best possible advantage for our customers, you know, without such bias. And I think the biggest opportunity, if I would say the biggest opportunity, is also maybe one of the challenges that India faces today as an exporter. And that, of course, would come in the way of the FTA agreements. Of course, many of the textile manufacturing markets in the world already enjoy such benefits. For example, you know, the regional countries are enjoying benefits towards Europe and North America, and even Vietnam recently joining that club with good agreements towards Europe. And this really puts the Indian suppliers on a kind of a back foot when they're quoting for landed prices, because, you know, it already puts them at about 7 to 12% behind the others. And this is a huge challenge, yeah, and a big challenge for many Indian exporters. Coupled with that, the removal of some of the re-export incentives, you know, has put an even greater burden on these manufacturers. And so, you know, in many instances, we're seeing them not able to match the competitive side of many others globally. So in my view, I think the Indian industry, the Indian textile industry, they need to really make a strong case towards the government to revive some of these FTAs, especially with Europe. Yeah. I think another great opportunity is connected with the man-made fibers and the synthetics. We in IKEA, we have a large portfolio of synthetic fiber products in our range. And we've committed to eliminate fossil fuel products from our range by 2030. Yeah. And in textiles, we've been more ambitious than that. And I'm really proud to say that 90% of all the textile products that we have, which are in polyester, are made only using recycled polyester. One of the challenges we faced in India, of course, is the volatility of the prices in recycled polyester. So, for example, as we're seeing global prices of recycled polyester come down, whether that be in China, rest of Asia, and even Europe and Turkey, we're seeing the opposite happen in India with those recycled polyester prices increasing. And while we're in a number of discussions, I think that there is a need really for the supply chain of recycled polyester to strengthen the establishment there, whether that be from collection points and quality, but also really to accommodate the imports of such materials to create that competitive element within the Indian market. And I think from that, the man-made fiber and synthetic market will definitely be an opportunity if some of these challenges are overcome. A little bit connected with that, of course, is the Circularity Agenda. As I mentioned before, it's on the minds of all the consumers today, especially in our major markets. And this really post-consumer, this circularity of taking already used textiles and then being able to send them back to our factories and recycle them and whether that's respin them. So of course there's things around the imports and the abilities to be able to import some of those as well, but also to have a good traceable and functioning supply chains, where I think there's can be incentives for investments and people who are really geared up to wanting to get on board with the circular agenda. I think another opportunity, of course, is the natural fibers beyond cotton, as it were, and really looking at strengthening the supply chains of, for example, jute, maybe through also more modernization in the industry. We've seen a huge volatility in jute prices. There seems to be too many intermediaries. And there's definitely a need for consolidation and cooperation within the jute industry. Again, wool and wool traceability, really trying to get this local and really is an established supply chain in RSW approved and certified and traceable wool. So we've been a little bit on that journey, but yet today most of the wool that we use in India for our handmade rugs is imported from New Zealand. Another area, of course, and I think one of the biggest opportunities, but also one of the biggest challenges that's facing the textile industry in India is, of course, the renewable energy and, of course, the big focus on coal. In IKEA, we have decided that by 2025, all suppliers need to move away from coal on their sites to renewable energy sources. And of course, as many of you know, coal is used in a lot of the textile industries within India, especially for heating those boilers and everything. And it's a big movement for them to shift to meet those demands that we have, and not only us, but I'm certain other retailers also following suit. But of course, I think they need some support on how they can move this renewable energy agenda. Again, connected a little bit with that, of course, is the water. As everybody knows, water scarcity is a global problem. And of course, when it comes to water, in IKEA, we've been working with effluent treatment plants for almost 20 years now. And of course, we're pushing now the suppliers into really installing zero liquid discharge systems. Again, connected with the renewable energy, we have decided and we have stated that by 2025 as well, all suppliers need to have that zero liquid discharge and keep all the water within the facilities. We're also encouraging water stewardship. We're working as well with some of our partners in the WWF with some of the water stewardship. And this is really important, not just for the planet as a whole, but also for the communities around. And so therefore, I mean, we think that, of course, these are expensive investments. But these are the investments for the long term and for the communities around. So we also think that the textile industry, and personally, I think they should make a case towards the local and even maybe central governments to really help incentivize for this sustainable future. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Navdeep Sodhi from GTC again. We now are almost at the end of this two-day conclave. And before I hand over to our Vice Chairman, Shri R.L. Nolakha, for his gracious vote of thanks, I would like to just recap and say a few words. We had wonderful presentations during these 2 days, and this was a rare opportunity to get the leaders from the government, policy makers, the captains of the industry, professionals, international buyers, institutions, and so on. So we really do hope that the confluence of all these leaders and professionals over these 2 days, this gave us a 360-degree perspective on our industry, which is becoming more and more complex. During these 2 days, I mean, as a matter of statistics, we had 8 sessions on diverse subjects such as supply chain, digitalization, sustainability, technical textiles, new business models, and also in terms of market access. So it covered trade as well as investments and fibers, because our industry is really driven by raw materials. During these 8 sessions, we were very privileged, and we would like to thank all the 40 luminaries and professionals who contributed, in terms of their technical know-how, the knowledge and expertise. I hope that we are really wizened after their sharing of their great knowledge. Some of the key takeaways from this conference, some of the messages that Mr. Giuseppe Ghezzi, mentioned, he spoke from, the snow in St. Moritz, was that, the cost competitiveness, enhancing the capability to process man-made fibers and technical textile would be a key success factor for India to really take advantage of the global opportunities. He highlighted about, the need, which we already know, about fortifying the apparel manufacturing to act as a catalyst, but also as an engine for the growth of our industry. Circular fashion, it is not just a CSR item in our annual reports, but it is a matter of our existence. So therefore, compliance with the Sustainable Development Goals and ensuring that, each action of ours, it has some impact on the environment is mitigated. He mentioned about improving the overall global competitiveness of India in the export markets, not just in textiles. And then, of course, the need for effective government, the public and private sector collaboration. In terms of FDI, we had the opportunity to listen to some leaders from the textile machinery industry and the garment industry, and they highlighted about the need to simplify some of our incentives so that they are intelligible to our foreign direct investment partners, and they are also easy for the bureaucracy to implement. In terms of fiber situation, I mean, we all agree that we need to harmonize our needs, and there is a scope for each fiber. Whether it is natural, synthetic, or man-made, they have a place, that there is a functionality and there is a need for that. And therefore, the industry has to really evaluate how to utilize and blend these fibers and take advantage of the opportunities in a sustainable manner. With this few remarks, I would like to hand over the stage to our esteemed colleague, the Vice Chairman of the Confederation, Mr. R.L. Nolakha, who has been present throughout this session. I appreciate his patience, and I call upon all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to listen to his remarks. Nolakha Sahab.
Good evening to all of you. Confederation of the Indian Textile Industry has organized this Global Textile Conclave 2021 at a time when the Indian textile industry is undergoing structural transformations and consolidation, which has associated in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. The 2 days conclave, with the participation of eminent speakers from all over the world, signifies the relevance of the event in the present situation. This was the last session of Global Textile Conclave 2021. With this, we have formally reached the end of this virtual event which has been huge participation of more than 5,000 peers from the global textile and clothing industry. I am extremely sure that the participants have gained valuable insights regarding the present and future prospects of the textile industry, and the way forward is explicit now. It was truly an amazing conclave with the support and cooperation of Prime Minister's Office, Minister of Textiles, and all global textile associations. At the outset, I would like to express on behalf of the entire textile industry our heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, for sending his goodwill message for the industry. His encouraging message has given the industry a new boost. I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Honorable Union Minister of Textiles, Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani, for taking our time for her busy schedule and inaugurating the second edition of Global Textile Conclave 2021. I would like to convey our sincere thanks to Textile Commissioner Mrs. Roop Rashi ji for sharing her knowledge with the industry regarding creating a strong technical textile ecosystem. I also extend our deepest gratitude to all other officials from various ministers, PMO, textile associations, and individuals whose direct and indirect support has played an important role in making this event a grand success. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the International Textile Manufacturers Federations, ITMF, and International Apparel Federation, IF, for being co-partner for this event. Let me express our deepest gratitude and appreciations to GTC Textile organizations, especially Mr. Navdeep S. Sodhi and his team for bringing the knowledge partner of this Global Textile Conclave 2021 and supporting us in all possible manner from the very beginning. On behalf of CITI, I thank all sponsors of the CITI GTC 2021 like title sponsors Lakshmi Machine Works Limited, gold sponsors Surplus Textiles and Industries Limited, India Itme Society, Heater India Private Limited, Lenging Fibers India Private Limited, Maswada Syntex Limited, RSW Limited, and Raman Limited. Session sponsors Textile Sector Skill Council, Wellspun India. Silver sponsors Nitin Spinners Limited, Sangam India Limited, Vardhaman Group. And bronze sponsors Kotak Commodities Limited and Indo Rama Synthetics for believing in CITI and association with us for making the event a grand success. We are also thankful to all our advertiser and supporter CITI Special Edition of Textile Times magazine. I also thank all the moderates, speakers, delegates, and viewers who have associated with us on these 2 days. Your presence played a key role in making this really fruitful and enriching. The guidance of our esteemed GTC 2021 committee members has helped CITI in organizing this event. I would like to use this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to all of them. I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to CITI Chairman Sri T. Rajkumar ji, CITI Deputy Chairman Sri Suresh Khandelia ji, and past Chairman CITI Sri Sanjay Jain for their wholehearted support and guidance. On behalf of CITI and industry at large, I thank both print and visual media for covering this event. Finally, I would like to thank CITI Secretary General Dr. S. Sunanda and his team for all their hard work and dedicated which they have shown in not only organizing this event but also making it a grand success. I wish them success in the future endeavors also and hope that they will organize more such events in the coming time which will be helpful for the entire textile industry. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Naulakaji, for proposing the vote of thanks. With this, we conclude the proceedings of the second Global Textile Conclave 2021 and wish you all the very best in your future endeavors and hope to meet you all again next year, but through a physical meet. Till then, have a great and wonderful time ahead. Once again, on behalf of CITI, I'm expressing a sincere gratitude to each and every person and organization, and also CITI's GTC 2021 organizing committee and my CITI colleagues who have wholeheartedly contributed for the grand success of CITI Global Textile Conclave 2021. Thank you all.